I'm rolling.
Welcome to Bugs World, and this is a first because I am conducting my first interview, and
Ever?
my guest, not ever, I've talked to you before, but this is my first interview for Bugs World, and my first live interview with you, and my guest, as you can see, is the hardcore legend, WWE Hall of Famer, and one of my all-time favorite wrestlers, Mick Foley. And this is kind of funny because I hated you when I first started watching. I hated Mankind because
Doing
The
my
Undertaker...
job, yeah.
Well, because The Undertaker was my guy. I have a tattoo on my back for The Undertaker, not of The Undertaker, but so I hated you because you kept beating him, and now you've won me over with all the hard work, dedication, everything that you have done, and now I'm just an absolute fan, and you're one of my all-time greats. So
Then you level with me. Will anyone actually see this interview?
there would be. I got about 30 people that check out my webpage. So
Right.
and of course I'll get the Mick Foley bum, so that'll help out.
Well, this is what I would like is for anyone who comes to the show tonight at the Funny Bone. You're not posting this like tomorrow, right? It's got to go.
No, it'll get posted today.
It specifically mentioned that you got the ticket, and I so I'm doing an informal, internal survey, and we're gonna find out the power
Of Mick Foley.
of the bug. Yeah.
All right. Yeah,
So we'll
so-
see. I'm skeptical, but we're gonna do
Skeptical of the bump?
skeptical
Or?
of the bump. Yeah, skeptical of the bump. So we're
All
gonna
right.
say, you guys out there? All right. Let me know if you're there because of this
Mick
show.
Foley, right next to me. That's amazing. I feel like Chris Farley. I want to remember that one time that he got thrown off the stage. And, yeah, that was awesome.
I did get asked about that. We had a contest winner, and just at this station before I went and did the TV show, you know, we did a few radio shows,
Mm-hmm.
and we've documented. Why aren't they in here? Aren't they supposed
I
to be?
don't know.
Jeez. Oh, maybe hold on.
Apparently, we're not big enough to
Keep
get
the-
documented.
Hold on. Let me keep the camera rolling. Let me see. Maybe they didn't know they were invited. Keep going. Just keep talking there.
All right. Well, Mick Foley's going to go check out his documentary crew, see what they're up to. Is
Hey, John.
having a great time just shooting the breeze right now with Mick Foley. Again, as I mentioned, I hated the guy growing up, but now he's one of my all-time favorites. He's obviously a legend, and one of the things that I just respect about you so much is that you came from quote-unquote being a sideshow, doing the ECW, the crazy Japanese wrestling with barbed wire and explosives and
I
things
never
like that.
consider myself to be part of a sideshow, but go ahead.
Well, I never did either, but you know, there a lot of the people inside the mainstream media and stuff would consider that to
Oh
be a bit
yeah, like garbage. Yeah. Some people would call
Right.
it garbage wrestling.
and I love it because you built yourself into a respectable, you know, in the eyes of mainstream to where you've done a lot of great things, being an author, being a comic book writer, you know, doing the stand-up, and just talk about that evolution to where you've earned that respect from a lot of people that may have, you know, frowned upon what you were doing back in the day.
Yeah, it's a nice feeling knowing that even the you know the real technicians in our business, you know, the WWE guys whose styles are polar opposite from what mine was, you know, they seem to like and respect the hard work I put into it. But with that being said, you know, I had the wild style, but it always lent itself well to working with others.
Mm-hmm.
So they could incorporate that wildness, and then, you know, in the case of a guy like Shawn Michaels, in 1996, was able to bring out a side of Shawn that people hadn't seen, and then he came out of, you know, the one match in particular with a different edge to him,
Mhm.
you know, and so. It was a wild style, and for people who would say, well, anyone can do that, and you go, well, anyone could do it, but not anyone can do it well.
Right.
You know, like there's an art to it. It's like saying anyone can play Little League baseball. You know, yeah, well, anyone can do it, but it's hard to do it well. And that was the knock at times when people thought the WWE show may have had, you know, too much humor in it. You know, like anyone could do humor, and you know, I remember the lead writer goes, "No, anyone can do humor, but it's hard to do it well and to incorporate it." So I try to incorporate different elements. You know, as I did in my career, I try to incorporate those elements into my stage show, so that when people leave, they feel like they've had an experience. You know, not just a series of jokes. hopefully it's stuff that will stay with them a while.
Yeah, we'll get to the show in a moment. I still got to get my fandom out of the way here.
I know you. I was trying to steer it. Actually, trying to get people to come. And
if you haven't noticed, he's at the Toledo Funny Bone tonight, 7:30. One show only. Tickets are going fast, so try and get them right away. We'll be there checking it out. This will be the first time checking out Mick Foley. Last year I was disappointed because you came in November and I was with the Toledo Rockets football team that night, so I wasn't able to check out the show. So I'm glad that I'll be able to get the opportunity tonight. Who's the favorite guy that you've worked with? Not necessarily wrestled, because you've been with all the legends. You mentioned Shawn Michaels, The Rock, Ric Flair, Terry Funk, and even some of the current guys. So who's your favorite guy that you've worked with, whether it's in the ring or just doing segments or maybe just something backstage that people may not know about?
Really enjoyed my photo session with the Bella Twins.
Oh, I imagine.
When I was Santa, and even though I had been cruelly written off the Christmas episode of Raw, despite the fact that I had been brought out specifically to be Santa Claus.
Right.
I had more money tied up in my Santa attire than everything else I own cumulatively. I was able to hold in that pain and realize that by not being on that Raw show, that I was free to do a photo session with all the divas. And so, for example, you take a polarizing figure like Eva Marie with the red hair. And this is the first time I'm saying this, so this is a breakthrough.
Bugs World exclusive.
A lot of people hate Eva Marie, but I find there are two types of people in the world: those whose laps Eva Marie has sat on, and those whose laps she hasn't. And people who have laps that she sat on don't hate her.
Right, they got nice things to say about her.
Yeah, nice things to say about her. It was a pleasant experience. She smelled good, and then when I said, "Hey, it'd be fun, like whisper something into my ear, and I'll act like I'm shocked, like I'm Santa." And I'm not going to tell you what she whispered into my ear, but I didn't have to pretend to be shocked because I was. Yeah, even a good guy likes a bad girl.
Yeah. That's great to
It's
hear.
an exclusive. There you go.
As you said, not everybody can do what you did and what you're capable. I'm evidence of that. I tried out with Al Snow down. They had a show.
There's your problem.
Yeah, they had a show, Ohio Valley Wrestling, down in Fremont, and this was probably about 10 years ago. And my brother paid the $50 for me to get the tryout before the show, and I ran the ropes, and I was okay with that. And then it came to getting clotheslined, and I didn't tuck my chin, so I smacked my head off the mat, and I wound up with a concussion.
All right, first day. I believe there's a lawsuit in there.
Well, that was more on myself.
I'll help you find a lawyer to sue Mr. Snow.
Yeah?
Yeah. No. Why are you taking a clothesline on your first day? They made you take a clothesline.
They had us do a clothesline, and they also did a suplex.
Okay.
And I took the suplex, but I didn't take the clothesline.
All right.
So, you got any tips if I try to get my wrestling career back on track?
Yeah, don't let somebody clothesline you on your first day at wrestling. And how much do you weigh, seriously?
Well, at the time, I weighed about 240. Now I'm down to about $165.
Really?
Yeah.
You're not messing with me?
No, I was at 240 when I did that, and over the last couple of years.
What you're telling me is after the traumatic brain injury suffered at the hands of Al Snow.
Yes.
Your body started rebelling against itself. This is all stuff